This is a story about lost boys. In order to tell this story properly, I need your help. Imagine for just 5 minutes that you are a 6, 7, or 8-year-old boy between the second and third grade. If you find that that's a bit of a stretch, imagine a 6, 7, or 8-year-old that you might know. It is a warm summer day and you're playing in the park with your friends, just having fun. Suddenly, you hear bombs and gunfire. You run to your house. You see your house is on fire. Your father is being arrested. Your mother is being taken away. Naturally, you're scared, so you run. And you keep running because you hear the bombs and gunfire right behind you. You run to places you have never been before. You stay off major roads because the police, soldiers, and militia are there. You head west. You stay together with a buddy. You run through strange places, but you always hear the bombs and gunfire not far away. You make it to DeKalb. It takes you a month, but you cannot enter the town because the militia is there. So you keep running. You keep running westward. You sneak into abandoned buildings to hide and sleep. You start out as a few, then a small group, then dozens. Eventually, your group of lost boys numbers 27,000. You keep running from the militia, the bombs, and the gunfire. You get near Iowa, and you see this, the Mississippi River. Some of you try crossing on small bridges, but the militia guns you down. Some of you try to swim. On any given workday, 10,000 people are in the Willis Tower. 11,000 of you die crossing the Mississippi River. You sleep where you can. You hide. You rest where you can. You take cover in the bushes. After months and months, you make it across Iowa and into Nebraska. You stay low to the ground. You bathe whenever and wherever you can. You even hide in trees. You eat with rusty silverware. You carry water in a dirty bucket. You often travel at night to avoid detection. You send a leader ahead to scout the way. Your leader is only 11. Then you see these, the Rocky Mountains. You're trying to make it to Denver because you hear there is a relief camp there. Luckily, you make it. 10,000 of you make it. You are given 1 cup of corn twice per month to eat. Each day you fill it with water, boil it, and drink the liquid for nourishment. You repeat this daily for 2 weeks until a new cup of corn arrives. But you are one of the lucky ones. You are chosen as one of the first to fly away to a friendly country where you can start your life anew. This is Sudan, one of 55 African countries and formerly Africa's largest nation. The Lost Boys of Sudan is the name given to more than 27,000 boys who were displaced during the Sudanese Civil War from 1983 until 2005. The Lost Boys are named after the Lost Boys from the Peter Pan movie. Far too many Sudanese died during the Sudanese Civil War. If you gathered up one person from every household in the city of Chicago and killed them all, and then you took one more person from every household in Chicago and killed them all, you would have 2 million people, the same number of Sudanese killed during their entire Civil War. The Lost Boys were separated from their families when government troops systematically attacked villages in southern Sudan. When their villages were pillaged and burned, they fled. They took shelter wherever they could. Orphaned and with no support, the Lost Boys journeyed to international relief camps like Kakuma in Kenya, one of the largest in the world. Many traveled the same distance as from Chicago to Denver. Overcrowding forced many to make multiple trips. They survived wild animals, thirst, starvation, insects, and disease. To find the larger groups, the smaller groups just followed their bones and their bodies. Out of the original 27,000, 10,000 lost boys made it from Sudan to refugee camps. 11,000 died crossing the Nile River. Many made it to relief camps. Others did not. These young boys often had to bury their own dead. Many survived brutal conditions with little food, often eating mud and chewing grass. In Kenya, they had food, but not much, so they often sold their clothing for corn. Some survived, and some did not. These are the lost boys of Sudan. This is the president of Sudan, Omar al-Bashir. In 2003, after decades of neglect, drought, and oppression, two rebel groups mounted an insurgency against the al-Bashir government. They were mostly black, African farmers and herders from Darfur, which is in the western region of Sudan. President al-Bashir's response was brutal, increasing arms and support to local tribal militias known as the Janjaweed. Their pay is whatever they can pillage and whomever they can rape. With Sudanese airship support and approval, the Janjaweed destroyed food and water supplies and systematically murdered, tortured, and raped hundreds of thousands of Sudanese in Darfur. The capital, Khartoum, is in the north. Al-Bashir has waged his war not only in Darfur, but throughout all of southern Sudan. This is a map of oil holdings in Sudan. Oil is in the south, and the government is in the north. President al-Bashir sells 70% of Sudan's oil, their biggest export, and just about their only export, to China. Average attendance at a Chicago White Sox game is a little over 30,000. That many Darfuris die every month for oil. Some lost boys and Sudanese made it out of Sudan as part of a humanitarian effort. Then 9/11 happened, and the immigration of Sudanese ground to a halt. This is Santino from Glendale Heights. He was the lost boy who told me about boiling a cup of corn water and drinking the liquid each day for 2 weeks, at the age of 6. This is the late Manute Bol. He was the first Sudanese basketball player in the NBA, playing for the Washington Bullets, Golden State Warriors, and the Philadelphia 76ers. While visiting Egypt, Manute Bol met two Sudanese refugee brothers and taught them the basic skills of basketball. Later, they brought along their younger brother, and he learned basketball as well. The younger brother's name is Luel Deng. Luel plays forward now for the Chicago Bulls. Every year in early January, Sudanese immigrants meet to celebrate the lost boy's birthday, which is January 1st for each of them. They had no records of their birthdays, so they were all assigned on January 1st. Luel Deng is in the middle, and Manute Bol is on the far right in the black suit. At their get-togethers, they celebrate their culture, honor their heritage, respect their customs, serve their new country, and make new friends. The Sudanese used to meet in church basements, along with the women of their community and their children. They play games like lift the egg with a spoon. They prepare traditional Sudanese food and enjoy each other's company. They sing, they dance, and just have fun. All along, our Sudanese leaders have had a simple, focused vision. Just as every other ethnic immigrant group has done before them, they have wanted to come together and work as one. They do this through their All-Faith Sudanese Community Association, of Illinois. They wanted to give their children the basic education and peaceful childhood that they were denied. The Sudanese Community Association of Illinois serves a resource for refugees from Sudan and its western region, Darfur, who are now living in Illinois. The association is a nonprofit that connects Sudanese Americans with social and human services to aid them in their transition to life in their chosen new country. The association works to connect Sudanese immigrants with volunteers willing to tutor adults and children. It connects area Sudanese with women's empowerment training, English as a second language classes, education counseling for youths and adults, credit and financial counseling, activist and leadership training, and scholarships. The association serves as a resource for career advancement too, by connecting area Sudanese with job referral resources, training, and career counseling. The association serves as a social services resource by offering child care training and referrals, media affairs, public access, cultural connections, information on all things Sudan, and an investment in Illinois' diverse society. These hardworking people have never sought a handout, just the opportunity to develop the skills they need to adjust to life in their chosen new country. These are my kind and gentle brothers who have already survived hell on earth with both dignity and grace. If this story has touched your heart like it did mine, then there are two ways you can help. Help us spread the word. Share this story with your family and friends. You can also arrange for a speaking engagement just like this one. Just give us a call at 312-576-8822. Second, help us raise funds to keep the Sudanese Community Center alive and permanent. Any donation, large or small, will help our staff aid our Sudanese brothers and sisters so they can access the social and human services they so dearly need. Your contribution will also help us raise a strong voice for economic and humanitarian justice. Plus, working in concert with our partners like Save Darfur, our political advocacy can help put an end to the genocide in Darfur and bring peace once again to all of Sudan. You can donate by going online to SudaneseCommunityCenter.org. I am often asked at these presentations what things are like now in Darfur. I will let the children of Sudan answer that question. This is Lopez Lamong. Lopez is a lost boy of Sudan who ran in the 1,500-meter relay for the United States Olympic track team. Out of all our country's athletes, Lopez was selected by his Olympic teammates for the honor of carrying the United States flag at the opening ceremonies of the Beijing Olympics on August 8, 2008. On January 9, 2011, a referendum was held, and the people of southern Sudan voted unanimously that their land should become its own sovereign nation. On July 9, 2011, our planet's newest nation, the Republic of Sudan, was born. It is a member of the African Union and a member state of the United Nations. You would think that becoming a sovereign nation would reduce the atrocities, But today, attacks by al-Bashir's forces still press along southern Sudan's northern border by bombing citizens and fleeing refugees alike, and continuing the never-ending displacement of tens of thousands. A humanitarian catastrophe is unfolding as the Sudanese government continues a violent military campaign against civilians in the Nuba Mountains region. Governor Ahmed Haroun ordered troops to sweep them, eat them raw, and bring them alive. The struggle for peace continues.